So you got to make sure this stuff makes sense to you. You should never try to blame anyone else for your decision making. I hear so many times when people say, well, my academic advisor had me in the wrong classes. How'd that happen? It's your job. Like, no academic advisor should ever decide what classes you get into, ever.
Hoop loudy.
So this video is going to be more geared to college students, but a little bit of it can be taken to the high school level as well, and that is take ownership of your 4 years. A lot of times you're young and you're impressionable and you want to be polite, and there's a lot of yes sirs and no ma'ams when you're talking to adults, and I'm with that. You know, I came up in a strict household. I came up with Southern values, yes sir, no ma'am, being polite and things like that. But some of that has to go out the window when you're talking to coaches in the one-on-one standpoint. Not to be disrespectful or anything like that. If there's one thing that I want you to do more than just saying yes sir, no ma'am, and that as it relates to just talking to your coach on a one-on-one conversation, I will want you to seek understanding of what's going on. A lot of times, because we don't want to rock the boat, we don't want to make any waves, we say yes sir and no ma'am just to be polite. And I encourage you not to take that mindset. I encourage you to understand what's going on, because at the end of the day, you're the one that's fitting the bill. I know some of you may be saying, well, Bill, no, the coach is actually paying for the scholarship. He's fitting the bill. No, you're fitting the bill. Meaning, oftentimes you have 5 years to play for. 5 years to play for. That's all you get. There's no do-overs. That's all you get. 5 years, you know, if you get a red shirt or whatnot, but you get 5 years to play for, so your eligibility is up after that. There's no redos. Whereas coaches can coach 30, 40 years. You know, Coach K down at Duke, he's about to come up on his 38th year of coaching at Duke, and he didn't start coaching there. So he's been in coaching for over 40 years now. You don't get 40 years of eligibility. You get 4. If coach has a bad recruiting class, guess what? He'll have another one. If coach messes up on one player, guess what? He'll have another one, or she'll have another one. You know, some of these coaches are in the game for 20, 30, 40 years of coaching. They get some redos. You don't. So you got to make sure this stuff makes sense to you. You should never try to blame anyone else for your decision making. I hear so many times when people say, well, my academic advisor had me in the wrong classes. How'd that happen? It's your job. Like, no academic advisor should ever decide what classes you get into, ever. They can recommend, they can suggest, but they don't tell you. It should make sense to you. You should be looking at your doggone degree plan and what class is going to take, what classes is it going to take for you to graduate. It should make sense to you. Don't rely on someone else to do that, because once your eligibility is over, the academic advisor is not going to care 2 flies smashed together about you or your future. And that's just the truth. Why would they? Unless you're still paying the university to go to school, then maybe. But it's nobody's job but yours. It's not your coach's job to figure out what workouts you should be doing over the summer. Are you kidding me? That's your job. It's your job to figure it out. You know, some of you may know that I work at different universities around the country, and I work with student athletes as well. And it always makes me upset when I hear a student athlete come in there and we ask them different information about their account and they don't know. They just like, I don't know, I have to call my coach. Why? Do you have to, like, don't get me wrong, if your coach is the one that's paying, then you may call your coach and say, okay, I want him to be a part of this meal plan, or I want her to have this type of, because it's coming out of their budget. I get that, but you should still know the numbers. You should still figure out like what's going on. It's nobody's. You have to take ownership. You have to take ownership of these 4 years that you have, whether it's in high school or whether it's in college, because once it is over, it is over. You don't get 40 years to get it right like coaches. You don't get 30 years. You don't get 20 years. You get 4. 5 years to play for, including the redshirt year. That's all you get. And once it's a wrap, then it's a wrap.